Good morning, good morning, Toi-Ohomai students. This is Emily Khan Malak, the Student Pulse President. I would like to welcome Allison Lawton here this morning.
Kia ora.
To give her views on different questions that we're going to ask her this morning. Kia ora, Allison.
Kia ora.
Can you explain where you work and everything, please, Allison?
Sure. Firstly, look, it's wonderful to be here and thank you for the opportunity.
Kia ora.
So I'm currently work for myself. I own my own management consulting company called Avid Business Consulting Agency. And I can say 20 years ago, I always knew I wanted to work for myself. I always knew I was going to be a management consultant. And up until 5 years ago, the timing was right. I had the experience, I had the academic prowess behind me and loving every second of it.
Oh, kia ora. I've just got a few questions that I would like to ask you, Allison,
Sure.
and see what your views are on these particular questions. The first one, what was your favourite subject back at school? Or can you remember back that far?
I giggle because I wouldn't say I enjoyed school. When I went to school, I loved sport. I was a competitive person and I had a competitive spirit.
Okay.
But if I had to say a subject, it would be, sport.
You're sporty. Oh, well, that's good because that is a subject in itself. Anyway,
Yeah,
isn't
I
it?
loved it.
What led you to your career today?
Yeah, I probably said that in my intro. I always knew I would work for myself. So a bit about my career. So I started my tertiary experience, actually it was back then known as Waiairiki Polytechnic, I think. And I had a toss-up. Do I go to university or do I come here? I'd met the love of my life, so guess what? I stayed in Rotorua. And I did a year here, and like I say, I really enjoyed sport. I thought I wanted to be an accountant. How wrong was I? I went, in no disrespect to accountants, but I went into an accounting firm for holidays, and it was so not me. So what led me to it is I love people. My career has always been around senior leadership. I was one of the youngest regional managers in New Zealand. I worked for a government agency when I was 25, 26. The pivotal point for that was going to Outward Bound. So if any of you have the opportunity to go to Outward Bound, it would change your life, it change your perspective. So let me know if I'm rabbiting on too much, but just keep rolling, shall we?
Kate, no, Kate, the way you're doing very well, sweetheart, because it's good to hear your pathway in your career.
Yeah.
Is there any advice you can give to students wanting a career like yours?
Yeah, I mean, I think, so I talked about Outward Bound. Probably what it taught me is had these leadership skills I didn't know I had. So that then set me on a career of management. So I've been a chief executive of Tupuia. I've been a dean of faculty here, actually at Waiairiki Institute of Technology. I was in the top 50 of Sky City and there was 5,500 people. I worked at the Auckland campus. I've held a range of GM roles. So for me, I realised because of Outward Bound, I'm going to go back to that, I had leadership strengths, and that was the changing point for me. To be a leader, you've got to be resilient, you've got to have courage, you've got to have confidence, and make sure you have a strong network around you. With respect to academia, make sure you get a solid academic grounding. So when I realised I had some skills, I then went off to Waikato University and did a Masters of Business Administration and MBA, and that really set me up for my career. So as a management consultant, I'm well stepped academically and from an experience perspective.
So there's always an opportunity out there for our students to gain all the skills in academia,
Absolutely.
to help them. Yeah.
So as long as you make sure that academia is coupled with real life experience, you'll have a long way to go.
Because for myself, I'm now doing my level 6, level 7 bachelor degree in applied business management.
Great.
So I've started with doing my level 5, level 6 New Zealand diploma in business, and now I'm doing it in applied business management.
Great.
So if I can do it, others can do it. And there's always a chance for our young ones to come back and and take these opportunities, because you're never too old to come back to school.
No, and can I say, when I was at Waiairiki, I was like the Dean of Faculty for the School of Business and Tourism, and I was here for 6.5 years. Also, I was a Deputy Chief Executive Māori for a time. I sat at the top table. So for me, being Māori, I saw that we needed to have different pathways. So what you see, you have a level 5, a level 6, level 7. That is around staircasing, so you can take it 1 year at a time until you're comfortable. I also was instrumental, not only me, but there was a group of us to develop the postgrad, so the postgraduate diploma that you've got and the masters. We developed that because in Rotorua, some of us can't travel. If you are looking to do a postgrad, the opportunity is here. So take it.
Kia ora. Thank you for that, Alison. Now, who is the teacher or teachers who inspired you the most at school?
Yeah, well, I giggle because I go back to my sports. It was probably my netball teacher, but I can't remember who that was. Look, so take it from me, I probably got my support from my family, actually. Yeah. My mother was very strong, and she was my role model, and I always knew that in order to achieve what you need to achieve, it doesn't have to be a school teacher, or it could be a person who believes in you, and that was my mum. So if you said to me who was the one that inspired me the most, I'd say it was my mother.
Yeah, your mums are very important in your life, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because for me, I've lost my mum, and I miss her greatly.
Yeah.
But she's taught me how to be very strong.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Now, coming to the last question of
Sure.
our interview this morning, Alison, do you have any holiday planned?
We
in the
do.
future?
We do. So my husband and I, guess what? We love sport. So every second year we go to Melbourne and we go to watch the Australian Open tennis. So we will be there for a week. And if we're not in Melbourne, we always go to the Auckland tennis. So that's fantastic up in Auckland. And then we're also reggae fans, so we are coming back to go to the One Love Festival, which we go every year, so that's what we've got planned. It's a weekend, holidays of sport and music. What more could you ask for?
Oh, that's good, eh? I wish we could do that too.
Yeah, so looking forward to it.
No, but thank you for coming in this morning to do this interview, because what we want to do is encourage our students that, there's other opportunities out in the community. And having people like you coming in from the community and knowing that you used to be here at Waiairiki, the old Waiairiki before we came Toi-Ohomai, it's good to see the changes. And do you feel that with the new change of this new name that we have, it's a good thing, or?
That's an interesting question. Look, I hail from Waiairiki.
Yes.
When I came and it was under Dr. Pimboran, there was tumbleweed coming through this institute. We didn't have a lot of students. So for us, the time we were here, we really grew the organisation. We grew the international. We were really focused around being bicultural. So I have very fond memories of Waiairiki because that's who I am. Having said that, you have to progress, and I love the name Toi-Ohomai. Obviously I know Leon and I know Kathy, who's the chairperson. So really good people. I just hope that we don't lose the focus of our city. Māori is very important here, and it's important that we recognise our community is international. We have a lot of international students, which are fantastic. So it's important that we retain that cultural integrity within the organisation, because we're quite different to the rohe over in Tauranga.
Yes, we are. And this is what we're finding with the different cultural things, that Tauranga is totally different, because here at Waiairiki, we're more Mokoia. We're very family orientated.
Yeah. And that's what I loved when I was here. We again, just two different organisations, and I was also the chief executive of the Rotorua Chamber of Commerce, so I understand as well. We are unique across New Zealand, and we can't afford, you've got to nurture that.
Yes.
So you have to nurture the Mokoia canvas to retain its cultural identity.
Yeah, and that's what we want to, this is why we're doing all these different interviews with different people in the community.
Yeah.
to get some views of how everybody is out in the community. And because here in Student Possible we do have all our international and our domestic students all mixing together, and they all come in here for food bank and
Can I say, I love the international students. So we travel to China and India, and so it's fantastic to see this cultural depth in our city. It's just making sure we retain that. The other thing I want to add, so Keith Eichen. When I was here, Keith Eichen was the Deputy Chief Executive Māori, and he had, I forget the schools he had, but he's gone on to be the Chief Executive of Māori Television. So you've had a number of key management who've gone on to do better things. Fletcher Tepito, he used to report it to me, love Fletch. So you have an amazing...
We've had some good successful Māori role models.
Group of people who have launched from Waiairiki.
Kia ora, and we hope to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And keep our young ones coming back to us.
Absolutely.
But no, thank you for this interview, Alison, and I'd like to thank you on behalf of Student Pulse and Toi-Ohomai. And if you want to know any more from Alison, I'm sure she'll give her... Actually, I'll let her tell you what her website is and everything, and then if you want to know anything from Alison, you can contact her on her website. Can you?
Sure. So my website is Avid Agency, AVID agency.co.nz. Go on and have a look. Just so that you know, I'm just project managing a brand new tourism attraction. So go and have a look at kahukiwi.co.nz. We launch on the 9th of December. So what I love about working for myself, so many different projects. And that's come from starting at Waiairiki.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora. Kia ora, everyone, and thank you, Alison. And I like to say kia ora and bye-bye. Ka kite anō.
Ka kite.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Ai.